Hello all and welcome to Opafed Gaming. I am the Opafed. We are in our trusty steed, the Kenworth 963, and we are on a humanitarian mission. Now we are in the garage in Urska River, and there's two ways you can leave. You can go out the front and then go around it and head to the ice, but the snow is really deep. So, or you can be a little adventurous and do what I'm doing here and just crash through the back things. Now the broken down car will not move, so don't hit him because you'll get some damage. Anyhow, this is the easiest and quickest way to get to the ice. So that's why we go this way. Now, we got to go pick up a cargo container and a set of wooden planks. And if you look at the top right hand corner, you can see I've already delivered one cargo container, one wooden planks, and I got to bring one of each more. So we got to go to the warehouse in Urska River, and then we got to take the shortest route, of which there are several, to the northern Aegis installation. And it's going to be a little bit of a drive. There's pitfalls everywhere. Now, as you're driving along the ice here, try and stay to the right hand side, as close to the hill as you can, because as you can see, the ice in the middle there looks a little broken, and it is. You will fall through. I know because I've done it. So everything that I tell you, if I say that you're going to fall through, is because I've done it, and I just want to warn you ahead of time. Now, as you go along the ice here, you can see the bridge up there. That's the bridge we got to cross to get to the warehouse. If you go right to the end here, and you can see there's a couple of big rocks on the boulders on the right hand side. There's a little area in between. You can climb up there and climb up the incline here, and then head left to cross the bridge and go to the warehouse. Now, the reason I like to use the Kenworth is because it's got a 3-slot rear deck on it, and you can put the crane on it, plus it's got huge tires. Now, of course, every vehicle in SnowRunner has got its pros and cons, but I'm not very good at pulling trailers, and I really don't care for it. So having a 3-slot flat deck on the back of your truck really helps out, because you can put 3 things on the back and you can hold a 4th with your crane if you so desire. Anyhow, we got to pick up a cargo container that'll hold 2 slots and a pallet of wooden planks that holds 1, so it'll cover the whole deck, which is perfect. As we're coming around here, we're going to be entering the warehouse. Now, the warehouse, I never enter it straight on because there's a couple of big holes there, and if you go through that and back up onto the cement pads, you will sustain damage. So I always go a little bit of an angle here and bypass those little holes there on the left hand side, and it's a little bit safer. So you've got cargo container in the warehouse on the right hand side and wooden planks on the left hand side. So we'll first go over here and we'll put the cargo container in the front, because it's a little bigger, so I prefer to have it in the front. I would also think it's a little heavier. Anyhow, that's just the way I prefer to do it. If you want to put it in the back, there's no reason why you can't. Then we got to turn it around and get it over to the other side. Now, if you want to play a game that's fast, where you can drive a little faster, then you got to drive a racing game, because this game is slow. You got to play it slow, because a lot of times driving a little slower is a lot safer than going too fast, and you can do routes that are a little worse if you go slow. Okay, well, we got our wooden plank, so let's go. Now we got to find the route to northern Aegis installation. Now, I'm hoping that I pronounced that right. If I'm not, then I apologize. But anybody that's played SnowRunner knows what I'm talking about. So coming down this road is icy. Another con of the Kenworth is it doesn't have chains for the tires. It's got, I believe, the second biggest tires. I think the Caterpillar is the one with the biggest tires. Don't quote me on that, but I think these are the second biggest. Anyhow, they got great traction. And when you're driving on an icy road, I always try to drive a little bit off to the side, either side, whichever one is best, so that I can drive with my outside tires in the snow to get a little bit of traction. Okay? Which you're gonna need coming up here, because this road here is an ice road. And if you had to drive up the middle of it, you'd never get up the road. Okay? And this is just a small piece of it. But you'll see the truck slipping and spinning and sliding over to the side a little bit every time you hit a section that's a little bit too slippery. I always try to go a little bit over here to get past those rocks, and then try to pull up a little bit. And then as you come over here by these cement pads, again, there's a lot of holes here. So you got to kind of try and look at where how your truck will be most level when you're driving across it. So I always go to the bottom and then I go up to the top part here a little bit. It keeps the truck fairly level. It makes it a little bit easier. Now this here, where the road starts here, unfortunately, it's really bad. It angles to the right, which is the main reason why I try to stay on the right. There's no point in going on the left-hand side of the road because you're just going to slide down. And if you stay on the lower side of the angle, you've got the snow to drive down. But you got to miss those holes too. You got to try and combat all of that at the same time. Now, like I was saying earlier, going a little bit slower is a lot better, because I flipped my truck in places like this because I was going too fast. So let that be a lesson to you, Oberfett. Take her easy and slow down. Smell the roses. As we're coming up here, that's the first part. And I'd like to say the worst part of this ice road, but I'm not so sure. The jury's still out on that. The second part of the ice road here is not all that great either. So all we can do is just slow her down and take it easy, and we'll get up there. That's not a problem. We're about, I'd say, well, not quite halfway to the tunnel. That's where we're heading to. The tunnel for the northern Aegis installation. That's where the hermit's cabin and the monastery is. So you got quite a ways to go to deliver this, but that's okay. It's a very enjoyable trip if you take it easy. Now we could turn right here and go over the hill. It's a shortcut. It's definitely a lot shorter than the way we're going, but it's a lot harder to go through that way. So I always choose to go this way. It's a little bit longer, and this part right here, you slip a little bit. It's a little tough, but once you get past this telephone pole here, it gets easier, okay? You just go around this rock and get back up on the road, and you got it made. Okay, so then we got to go, I don't know what facility this is, some sort of a big facility. We got to get to the other side of it and come back out. So the graphics in this game are absolutely fantastic. I've been playing this game for quite some time now, and you probably would have guessed that, seeing as how this is a video from Amur, which is quite a few seasons later than the beginning of the game. But that's okay. We've gotten a lot better at playing it. I was not that great at the beginning, but I'm starting to really get a hold of this game. Really enjoy it. So as we're coming up over here, we're going to go hit the exit. There again, a little bit of an ice road coming out of this facility. And there again, just drive a little bit on the, I like the left-hand side, the driver's side. But you got to look at the road, see, because there's a rock, a boulder halfway up. So if you're driving in the snow on the other side, you'd have to go around. I mean, you're going to hit all ice, so you don't want to do that. So I stay on the left. And it seems to work okay for me. We got a little ways to go yet, but we're going to be hitting the ice again. Now, I did a video not too long ago about the shortest route to the tunnel for North Aegis installation. We're going to be joining up with that route shortly here. But first we got a ski hill run almost is what it looks like. There are lots of moguls and it's really difficult. Now, I flipped my truck there before, so now when I drive along and I get to that part of the route, I put it in a lower gear just so that the truck doesn't take off on you. Okay? I'll let you know when we get there. Now, all along the way, you're going to find debris on the road like trees and boulders, and there again, the Kenworth, with the tires being as big as they are, you don't really have to worry too much about the boulders. Now, I've had it before where I got stuck on a boulder with my Tuz, the 420 Terran, and it is just like, we're talking about major pain in the butt. So you want to try and avoid them. And they love their boulders in this game. The boulders and tree stumps are two things that you find everywhere. And the tree stumps you have to avoid like the plague. Anyhow, here we are at that mogul part. It's not that long, but it's long enough to create a little bit of a problem. Now, I always try to drive on the right-hand side. There seems to be a ridge area here. It's a little higher than the rest of it, and if you you got to go slow, because if you go too fast, you're going to slide off on the left or the right. But if you try to ride the crest a little bit like this until just see, and I'm starting to slide off a little bit, I usually try to ride it to about right here. Then I move over and try to come along here, because it's really difficult to keep it's hard to see where the road is level, you know, from side to side, right? So where I flipped my truck was right in this dip right in front of me. I was too far to the left and I came towards the dip and I flipped it over onto the passenger side. We're not going to do that today because we made it through. Okay, so once we make it through here, now we're going to join up with that short route. We come over here and we're going to head back towards the ice level. Turn to the left, and like I've mentioned in the other video, if you stick to the left-hand side, now you would think the right-hand side would be better because there's no rocks there, right? But I've tried it, and if you go on the right-hand side, you will flip towards the left. But if you go over here and you stick to the side, they'll let you slide over top of the rocks. Just like that, without too much trouble, okay? So that's the way I normally go. And if you go a little bit slower, I've pulled fuel trucks through here with this Kenworth, because when you are in Northern Aegis installation, there are no gas stations. So to do a little bit of preliminary work, you should drive 2, 3, 4 fuel trucks out there. They got 2,000 liters apiece, and kind of place them all over the map so that you've got fuel. Now, as we're coming up along here, we can miss all these boulders. Don't try to drive too fast, because some of these shards of ice are loose, and if you hit them too hard, they will bounce your truck, and you don't want to bounce into the water. Now, by this last boulder here, I usually just try to get up to the boulder, and as soon as I get by it, I crank my wheel. I don't care if the back wheel goes over the boulder, I just don't want the front wheel to go over. And as you can see, here we got a chunk of ice flew up, but it didn't push us over. Now over here, right there on the left-hand side is where I had to go up with the Tuz, because the Tuz got smaller tires, smaller vehicle, cannot make it up over here. But this, if you have a vehicle with bigger tires, a little bit of power, yeah, it looks not doable, but it is. You just got to have a little bit of patience, position your truck the way you want, and it will climb over. It'll take a couple of seconds, but it's a lot quicker than going to the left of this rocky area and having to go through the deep snow. So, as you can see, he's climbing through here pretty good, and the deep snow doesn't even slow him down. It just keeps going. So that is the best way to go to get to Northern Aegis installation. Okay? Okay, and as we're coming up around the corner here, don't worry too much about the pine trees. The little pine trees, you can run over top of them, but be careful because some of them you cannot run over. Some of them are a little bit harder, and then even the bigger ones, the branches kind of reach out and grab your truck sometimes and stop you from going where you want to go. So you got to pay attention. It's like I said, it's a game where you got to pay attention all the time, and it's a lot of fun because be in an open world, and I'm not used to that. Notice the tree stumps everywhere. Be in an open world, you got to keep an open mind. And if there's rocks on the road, go around them. You can drive anywhere you want. And I think it's awesome. Now this is the last little bit of problem. The Tuz goes through here a little bit quicker. The Kenworth takes a little bit longer, but you have no choice. You have to go this way. There is no other way unless you go all the way around. And that just isn't a feasible thing to do. Not for the few seconds it takes to get through here. This is nothing. As we're climbing up this hill, when you get to the top of the hill, there is a mud pit right in the middle of the track. So if you try to go through that mud pit, it'll hold you there for a little while. So when you get up here, you kind of veer a little bit to the right and climb the bank on the right-hand side. Okay? And that way you miss the mud pit altogether. You can still get up there fairly easily. So we're almost at the tunnel. Come up around the corner here and the tunnel entrance will almost be in sight. And once in the northern Aegis installation, we can perform our humanitarian rescue humanitarian rescue mission and go to the hermit's cabin and drop off the cargo container. Here we go. All right, a new day. Now we check the mini map, your friendly reminder and best friend. I always like to put a tracker where I got to turn. I know most of the roads, but sometimes I miss the turn off, so I like to put a tracker there and then it just reminds me. Plus, I also like to change the time of day, although the different times of the day are cool, nighttime and the afternoon, you know, it's beautiful. However, I find it harder to see things, and I think the game is so beautiful and the graphics are so great. I like to be able to see where I'm driving, what I'm looking at. So that's why I changed the time of day. Anyhow, over here I found that if you drive over the rocks rather than try to get that hole to the left hand side by the rocks, it's a little bit easier. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but it does work easier and there's less of a chance of flipping your truck. Now just up ahead here on the left-hand side of the road is one of the fuel trailers I pulled over during an earlier mission. We're down to 311 liters of 510, and I think we have 120 or 140 on the roof. Now we got quite a ways to go, so we're going to fuel up here. Okay, so we got a full tank. There we go. And we're going to head off to the hermit's cabin, which is not far away. Now this little hole here is fairly simple. You just got to go a little slower because he kind of pushes you around a little bit. The boulders, they kind of move back into the truck, but that's okay. Now on the right hand side here you see some tracks going up. That is a shortcut. I found out later. After all this time I've been driving through this watery pit in the bottom here, and I could have gone around it. So be aware. It's good for the next person to know so you don't have to go through this, because it is a real pain and you stand a chance of flipping your truck to the left. Now when you get about this far, a lot of times your truck gets stuck or he moves very slow, and then the best thing to do to keep it from leaning towards the left, use your winch. take the winch and hook it onto whatever you can find and see if you can pull the front tires up out of the water, okay? Now I winch it to this here thing the first time, and that wasn't the right spot because it pulls me way too close to the rocks. So I try again, and I put the winch on the other one, the other tree that's there, laying on the ground, right there. And that'll pull me a little bit better. Now you hold the winch, keep the winch attached, so because that'll keep you from flipping to the left. Until your truck straightens out, let go of the winch and she'll pull herself out of there. The winch is, not can be, but is your best friend. You need him a lot more than you think you need him. I tell you, without that winch, if you can get the biggest, strongest winch before you leave the garage, do it if you can afford it, because it'll pay for itself many times over. Now we got to do a little bit of cross-country snow running, I guess you call it, to get up to where the hermit's cabin is. Okay? So as we're coming around the corner here, one thing you got to remember, when you come up to a bridge, you got to line your truck up better than I just do over here, did, or am gonna do. Because when your truck is not lined up with the bridge, not a lot of good stuff can happen. And as you see, I'm going to back her up, but my front right tire is off the bridge. So, not a good idea. Back it up, try again. I still don't get it lined up as good as I should have, but I wanted to get going, so I figured I'd take a chance. Luckily enough, nothing happened, but as you can tell, my rear left tires are not on the bridge. So I kind of compensate by pulling it a little bit further to the right. Anyhow, this is the hermit's cabin. So half of my humanitarian mission is done. Now we're going to give him a cargo container. Boom, he's gone. Now what I like to do, I don't know if it makes a difference, but I don't like the looks of that wooden plank sitting way at the back, so I want to move him forward. I don't know if it makes a difference in the way the truck handles or not. I doubt it. I doubt if it does anything, but I just like the looks of it up front. And it doesn't take a long time to do. You just pick it up with your crane, move it forward, drop it down, repack the cargo, and restore the crane, and away we go. Now we know for a fact that we got to go down the bottom of this hill, and then we got to turn right. After that, it's the monastery is quite a ways away, and like I said, I like to every once in a while, see there's a tree that likes to grab. Every once in a while I'd like to check the mini map, make sure that I'm going in the right direction, make sure I know where the turnoff is, because believe it or not, I've done it before, and I'm sure lots of people have done it before, where they've pulled a trailer or done something and gone in the wrong direction, and then you can't back up and you can't get out of where you are, and it's just a nightmare. But as you can see, we're going to come along here where that little yellow arrow is. That's where the monastery is. So where I laid the tracker down, when we're coming down the road, the turnoff will be on the left-hand side. So we know that. But we're going to check it a few more times along the way to make sure that we're heading in the right direction. So with the boulders and the rocks, don't worry too much about them. Like I said, with the Kenworth, you can get over top of almost everything. And every once in a while, if there's too many rocks or boulders, then think outside the box and drive around it. Now here we got a little bit of a crack in the rocks where the road goes, so we have to go around it over here and over top of this little creek. And sometimes when you drive with a vehicle and you go through deep snowy creek area like this, you can have your wheels turned and you still push your truck straight. So you might have to back it up and go forward again. And that's okay, because we got chunk of road coming up here that's a switchback area, and one of the cons of the Kenworth is because it's such a big truck, you can't get around the corner, so you have to go back and forth a couple of times around some of the corners, and that's okay. Because the pros on this truck, I believe, far outweigh the cons. That's why it's my favorite truck. See, now, when I was talking about thinking outside the box, it's areas like this. You know, this time you can go right through the middle, but up ahead here, there's a place where there's too many rocks, so you just go around the outside on the side of the hill. So, now I know a lot of people like to drive different trucks in this game, and they showcase the other ones. I can't even begin to tell you which ones they are because I hardly ever drive them. The thing is, when you're playing this game and you're driving a particular truck, if you always get stuck and you can't get going, why would you continue to use that truck? And if you drive a truck that goes through everything, why would you not continue to use it? That's how I ended up with the Kenworth. So I believe you get them in the Ontario region. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. And then there are upgrades, of course, for the engine and stuff like that, right? So you want to get all the upgrades for this truck, and then it's basically second to none. Between the Kenworth and the Tuz together, she makes an awesome team. Look, they even have a picnic table up here. It's a little bit cold to have a picnic, but maybe in the summer. It's an awesome view, though. I tell you, it looks fantastic. Anyhow, this is that switchback area that I was telling you about. And there again, you can, just take your time to go through it. Now, there's another trailer that I've previously delivered and left over here, but we got 410 liters. We've only used 100 liters to get here. So I don't think we're going to take any, and we're going to leave it for any future missions that I might need fuel in. So we'll just keep going, and we're going to be backing up again on this corner, I'll tell you. They're tight turns, and this truck is just too big. Just too big. But like I said, if I had to deliver, say, 4 pallets of wooden planks, I could put 3 on the back, hold one with the crane, or I'd have to pull a trailer through here. Now, if you're pulling a trailer through here, it'd be even worse than this by itself. So that's why I prefer to go with just the Kenworth, without a trailer. Anyhow, this here is a little icy area here, and there too, when you're going around the corner with this truck on an icy area going downhill, if you let up on the throttle every once in a while, it will slide your truck. The front end of your truck will slide over because of the road surface being slippery. So sometimes that helps. Not that time. Now we're getting pretty close here. We're almost done with the switchbacks. I believe there's one more turn here. One more turn, and then the switchback part is done. But like I said, you go a little bit slower and you take it easy. There's been a few times where my truck was leaning to one side or the other, and if I'd gone a little bit faster, she would have flipped, because the force would have been harder on the one side. It would have flipped the truck over. So anyhow, we're out of the switchback part. We're out of that, I believe. But lots of obstacles on this road. Boulders everywhere. Rocky area. These guys must have had a lot of fun making this game, I'll tell you. Here we go. Okay. Well, we're out of that part. Now here, this is what I was talking about with open world, thinking outside the box. Look at how rocky that area is. And I'm not used to this kind of out of the box thinking, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Just go over on the side, run the trees over. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Got to get by these boulders. We're almost there. Now your tracker, as you can see, is that blue teardrop in the black diamond. Once you get close enough, it tells you the distance that you got to go. But that tracker, of course, because I laid it straight across, is as the crow flies. So it's unreal to see or think how close you are, because you got to go back and forth, right? That's okay. Now, remember when I was telling you about those trees, you got to be careful. Some of them have arms on them and they grab a hold of your truck and they don't want to let you go. Well, here's one of them. And when you come up against a tree like that, you got to try and stay away. Now, I got the boulder in my way, so I'm going to crank my wheels as soon as I get past that boulder. And see, he was trying to hold on, but it just wasn't quite strong enough. Okay, and we got to go over that little bridge. I was thinking we had to go up the hill on the left-hand side, but not yet, because the tractor's not there, silly. So we got to go over this little bridge, and we are getting really close. Oh, he's in the back end slipped off again. I gotta pay better attention to that, because it'd be a shame to flip the truck now, because if you flip it, I don't have an autonomous winch on it, so I can't set it back up. So I'd have to bring the cuz out to try and straighten it out, and then I'd have to put the wood back on the back. So, you know, that's a lot of extra time. So you're better off just take your time, relax. Now you see where the tracker is. We're turning left here, which is a good thing. If we had to go straight, it is really, really bad. It's deep snow and it takes forever to get through it. That's why I'm so glad the monastery's up here, because it makes for a little bit easier drive. Boy, I tell you, this is a mission accomplished. Well done, we made it. We're just feet away or meters away from our destination. Climbing the hill, and the day is coming to an end too, so perfect timing. We managed to do the first part of the trip in the day, and then I had to change the time, but we managed to do the second part in the day. So that's absolutely fantastic. Really love this one. I love this game. There's just no doubt about it. It's a fantastic gameplay and a lot of fun. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps you out and shows a few little shortcuts and, you know, having a good time playing the game. Anyhow, until the next time, you've been running in the snow with the Opafet.